click on table. Now we see the table is available here, and we can click on year onto the table on the x-axis, and the and the country GDP into the y-axis. Oh, sorry, is rows year, and the GDP into the columns. Now you will be able to see that for each year, what is the GDP of the world. So because we have not filtered by the country, we can see all the GDP which is has been reported is coming here. So it has just summarized. So we have done just the first one already. We can click on it again to convert it into a line chart. We can do that as well. It will show here, this is the GDP of the world starting from 1967. Now you will see it is not sorted 2017, 2014, 2013. So it's not that in a sorted manner. Why is it not sorted manner? Because it's not a number. It's a text. If you see, we will go back to the edit data later on, and it will show you this is a text. That's why it's not sorting out correctly. So now anyway, we didn't want it to go through this process now, because we will look at it in a different manner. So we remove the visualization. Now we go back to the our get data text CSV, and get the other two files, the country CSV. Now you can see there is no extra items here, extra rows like in the previous file, but we will still not load the data 100%. We will go to transform data first. In this file, you already can see there are certain things which are missing. Like for example, there is no data for it, even AX, right? There are some other data which were also missing when we look at the preview. I forgot to highlight you that, but there are certain data which is missing. Like here, we don't have any column number. So we are going to learn how we are going to deal with these kind of situations now. Because in Power BI, the data is never perfect in the data analysis world. So now again, it has already applied certain steps, source, promoted headers, and change the types. Here, it has already promoted the headers to right one because there was no other extra row for the Power Query to handle. It has automatically updated the number headers to the correct one. And now you can see there is another query here. So now there are two queries: country GDP, on which we worked earlier, and countries one, which is the current file that we are working. Now, countries one is not ideal name, right? So we want to know this is the country's data. Country data means this is a data about the country itself, right? So hit enter. So now it will change to country data. Now what we need is we need to choose certain columns which we want to keep or we don't want to keep, because we cannot keep all the columns here, all the columns in this file. So what we want to see for our analysis, that now it depends on what kind of analysis we want to do with this particular data. So if we want to, let's say for example, if we click on choose columns that we learned earlier, because we are not sure about what kind of analysis we want to run. So this ISO and ISO 3 is the country code. So let's say we want to keep the country code ISO 3 because there's three digits, and in our country GDP we had a 3-digit country code as well. So we can keep ISO 3, we can remove ISO 3, ISO only. Then we have ISO code. ISO code again is not required for our analysis. We don't need this. FIPS is, we don't know what is FIPS, so we will remove this for now. Display name we can use. This is our the country display name. Official name, we have another one, official name. Now, do we want, we can keep one of them, but we may not keep both, right? So let's keep display name. Then you have capital. Do we want capital? Maybe we don't want capital for now. We can remove it. And then continent, yes, we need to, if we want to know the GDP by continent, then we can keep the continent because that's the important data. Currency code, we don't need to know because since we only have two parameters here, one the one GDP only, and it's already in dollars, so we don't need the currency code. So we can remove it. We can remove the currency name itself. We don't need to know about that for now. Phone, we don't need a region code. Maybe we can, or maybe we don't need a region code. Maybe we need a region name. So we can keep the region name, sub region name, international region code, international region name. Status, I don't know what it is, so we can look at what is the status. Developed or developing, we need to know. Small island, we need to know. Landlocked, we need to know. Land least developed country, we need to know. Area in square kilometer, we need to know. Population, we need to know. So we can click this. So the we can click OK. Yeah. So now it has removed the unnecessary columns, means hide the unnecessary columns and added the steps here. Now you can see there are certain columns which are missing. Like in region name, this is missing, right? We don't know what it is. Antarctica in HS which region? So how do we deal with that? We cannot leave the columns as blank because that's not good for data analysis. So we need to give it some name. So let's do here that we want to replace the blank with something else. So we can click here in transform and use any column, and you will see here there is a button for replace values. So we can replace the value. So we replace the value means replace the values. Since we don't have any value, means it's a blank, we can see blank and replace with other in this particular column. So we click it. So what it will do is it will fill up every blank as other. Now you will click on the filter down. You will not see blank. You will see other. So that's the way we modelize our data. So see, if we are sure that every other blank is going to be this like this, then we can do that. We can do the same for the subregion code also. We can click on it and we can click replace values and say others. It was others or other. Now click OK and it will replace everything else. Now we can see what is the other columns here. So there is true and false. Do we want to use this? That's the question again. True, false, landlocked, true, false. So it can be true or it can be false. Now, the question is, do we want to keep it like this or not? Or do we want to replace it as none or zero or one? So we could deal with that later if we want to use like this. Otherwise, we at the moment we don't know how we are going to analyze it. So we can leave it as it is for now, and then we can come back to it later. So now let's see, let's assume that we have finished our data. If you want to, if you see that you need to change the any of the data, any of the type here, you can always change the type of the column. But now we don't need to do it. So we will go back to home and we click close and apply so that we can go to the other third one. So once it's apply the changes, you will see there is second table appearing here, country data and country GDP. And if you see in the table format on the type, you can see there are two. One is we can preview the data here also by selecting the tables what is containing in that data. And if you go to model data, you will see there is a country GDP and a country data file. So there are two tables which are appearing here. We will see the other step of modeling in a bit. First, we need to upload the last file that we have for today for this particular exercise. So let's go back to the country data here, text CSV quickly, and we go to the country population. That's the last one. Click OK. Yes. Okay. Sure. Sure. We will take a break after this. Yeah. Okay. So we were looking at the country population. Here again, we need to follow the same steps. We click on transform data. So we have country population, country name. Now it has not automatically updated the row header. Sometime it does, sometime it not. So now we can do manually. So use first row as a header. So it's already done, and it has also changed the type. So we have the country name, we need it. We have the country code, we need it. We don't need the indicator name here because we as the logic goes, we will remove by using the choose column, indicator name and indicator code. And again, we need to do the same because the 1961, 1962, the by years, the data is a lot. So in order to reduce the columns, we need to unpivot data. So the way to go to unpivot data was select the columns, go to transform, click on the unpivot column. Oops, it has done something wrong. Let's remove it. So because it we just clicked it automatically, so it transformed the country name and country code here, which is not the way we want it. So we will just remove this step, and the data will be going back to its original state where we left it. We will again select it, click on the little icon here, drop down and unpivot other columns. So we click on it, and now it's what we wanted. So we need to just change the column number, column name here to from attribute to year, and from value to population. Now we have all the three files that we wanted. We will click close and apply. Right. So now we have GDP and we have the country population, all the three things, right? Now the first thing we have to do is, because there are three different files, and so there is no relationship between them. If we want to analyze anything, we need to match in a normal Excel file. When we want to analyze, when we want to divide, let's say I want to know the country GDP by population, by its population per population, right? How much is it? If I want to know that in a normal scenario, in a normal Excel file, I need to have in one table country name, the population, and the GDP together, right? But here we have three different files. So you can see here we have three different files. One file has the GDP, one file has the country population, and one file has the continent and other information about the country. The main files have country code, country name, and the country data. So how do we do that? Now we need to link these files all together. So Power BI works on relationship. So we need to create the relationship between these three tables so that Power BI can understand how they are linked and can use the GDP from here and population from here and give us the GDP per population, per person. So what we are going to do? We are going to link them. So the way to link them is there are two ways to link it. One is we create relationships, manage relationship here. As you can see on the top, manage relationship. So we can go from here, or the shortcut here is that country code. We know this country code, and we know that the ISO 3 on this sheet was a three digit country code. So we could drop it on the country code, drag it and drop it, and then same we do here, country code, and drop it to the country code. Now it has created a many to one relationship. Now, how do we know this is many to one? You will see one is written over here and one is and there's a star on the other column. It knows the Power BI, the Power Query knows automatically uh, what kind of relationship we need to create. So there are three few relationship between the tables, like many to one to many to many, and one to one. One to one means there is only one transaction in that one in the column, and it's linked to only one of them. So there is a unique relationship. If one to many means the one, because in in this particular table the country is appearing only once, right? The one row per country, but in the population and in the GDP the country is appearing 10 times or 12 times or 13 times because of the number of years. So it has created the one to many relationship here with the country population and with the country GDP, because the country name, the country code appears only one time in this particular file and many times in country population. So this is how we create a relationship. If we want to, since the country code is here, country code is here, we could also go directly into the creating the relationship between the two. It would create it, but it would alert me that this is going to create a many to many relationship. Now, why is it many to many? Because China is appearing many times in country GDP file, and it's appearing many times in population file also. So if I click OK, it will create a relationship. It will follow what we are saying, but it will follow a many to many relationship where you have star on the both sides, and it will not make it activated. So you see there is a small dot here, dot line. So it means that relationship is there, but it's not active. You cannot use this relationship. So we do we need to create it? We have advanced usage of this unused relationship, which we are not going to learn in this particular class. So we will remove it for now. So we will right click and delete this relationship, and this relationship, oh, it's not gone yet. Oh, okay. Yes, I want to delete the relationship. So now it's gone. Now we only have one relationship. So we will be working with one to many relationship for the purpose of this class, because that will make it easier. Now, once we have done the relationship, it's easy for us to do the measures, right? So what is the measure that we are going to learn after the break? So now, if you have any questions, you can ask the questions, and then we can go for a quick break before we come